Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the DA-35 Skyjacket Storm Savers version from the Diaclone line. Now basically how this works is it's kind of like one larger vehicle, or it has some other configurations and whatnot, but it can combine with one of these smaller core robots and give you this robot over here. So just want to confirm, you cannot make this full configuration with just what's in this box. You do need one of the smaller core robots, but I'll show you how that works when we get there. It does come with a small pilot, as you can see. Not too much going on the tops, bottoms, or sides of this packaging, but this does show the two smaller units that you can break it into. Of course, it's also shown on the back. So you can see here all of the... Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit and move the camera. These are all of the small components. You can put them all together to make the sky hanger, or you can have these two smaller pieces, the core machine setter or the air mobile unit. So I'll show you these two first, and then I'll show you the combined version. And then you do need one of the smaller robots, as you can see here. I don't have the white one, but I'm going to use the blue one that I did in my last video, because that does work with this, so I'm going to use him. And then you just kind of put it all together, and then you get the combined mode, which I think is pretty cool. And it does show you over here how you can use the other robots. And I'm not quite sure if that's exactly the one that I have. No, that one looks to be a little different. But you can use a bunch of the different cores, which is pretty cool. That's kind of the fun part of the Diaclone line. There's a lot of interconnectivity. All the different core robots can usually work in anywhere else a core robot would go. So pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here's everything you get in the box. And I am going to say that right off the bat, you do have to do some assembly. You actually get a few sprue kits in this. These pieces here, which I'll take one of these off, it's kind of like a joint. You can see that there's a hinge here, there's a hinge here, and then it has these two guns on the front. You had to put these together, so this is kind of one piece on each side. I think this was one solid piece, and then these were two pieces, so maybe 5 pieces in total. It's not too terribly difficult to do. It caught me off guard a little bit. I didn't expect, with how expensive these sets are, I didn't expect to have to put anything together. But again, once you put it together, it really doesn't look cheap or anything like that. I think it's just the fact that, in my opinion, it was probably easier for them to like create and package and ship with them on the sprue, because if these pieces, I think, were loose in a box, it's either the tray would have had to been huge, or they might have broken in transit. So I think having you put them together yourself just kind of gave them stability in the packaging. So now obviously trying to put them back in the box is going to be virtually impossible, because you'd have to just put them loose in a box somewhere. But these pieces here as well, this white wing was one piece, and then two sides of this gray piece here that you just sandwich together over top of it. And again, once they're together, they're solid. And the pieces don't feel cheap. The plastic definitely doesn't feel cheap. You just had to snap it together yourself. These two guns as well, they're just two pieces you just sandwich together, but they look pretty good. And I think that was it. I think you cut the swords off. You can see that they're in these little like makeshift sheath pieces that you can just peg in somewhere, and then the sword can just kind of slide through. These pieces were both on a sprue as well, but again, they look great. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. They don't feel cheap or anything, so that's nice. These arm pieces, shoulder pieces, legs, and the two kind of core pieces here, they were all just in the box. So these are fully assembled. They have some screws and stuff. Actually, these pieces right here, this like gunmetal gray piece and this piece that slides on it, were on the sprues as well. But then they pegged onto these. The rest of this came fully assembled. And then this piece came fully assembled as well, minus the gray pieces. So, and then here's our little pilot. We'll take him off quick. He's got all the same articulation as the last pilot that we saw. Little different deco. Let me get in real close here. So this guy doesn't have a face, he has a visor. He's got a little gold emblem there on the chest. I don't think the heads move at all. He's got an ab crunch, ball joint in the shoulder, 90 degrees in the elbow, ball joint in the hip, 90 degrees in the knee. So pretty good articulation for a figure this small. So pretty cool there. I'm going to put him off to the side for a moment. So basically, this is the, and let me make sure I'm getting the name right here, Core Machine Setter. And this is just kind of the basic like jet core unit with these pieces underneath with the guns facing forward, and then these wing pieces on the back. And you can see where I had the pilot, really nice paint detail there for the console, and then he just kind of sits on it like a motorcycle and his legs kind of go underneath there. And that looks pretty sharp. Now, as far as the air mobile unit, this is not the whole thing. So what you're supposed to do, I believe, you take the guns and they peg here like this. And we'll take a quick look at the gun. It's pretty simplistic, but I think it looks good. It has a little notch that reminds me of a Gundam. So I think that's pretty cool. So we'll peg that on here like this. If you want, you can take the sword pieces as well. And those, for some reason, the guns tend to fall off a lot, but it's not a big deal. You just pop them right back on. So this goes here like so. Put the gun back on here like so. And if you want to push these in, they slide. So if you want to do that, maybe to give it a little bit of stability. This one, I feel like is nice and tight. This one's a little loose. I don't really think that's anything's fault. It just kind of happened. So this is it. This is the air mobile unit. Kind of just like a little drone that can fly around and I guess fire some lasers. Maybe he can control it remotely from this. I'm not really sure. However you'd like to make up the cannon in your head. And these wings can move in and out. There's that little bit of articulation there. They can also spin like this. Because that's just a peg. These are just pegged in. Like so. But they do kind of have, and now I'm going to knock the guns off completely. They have kind of like a track, you can see with this piece here. So you can put it in like this. Then you have to kind of loosen it a little bit to spin it. Because if you peg it all the way in, then it's going to fit in that little notch and it's not going to be able to spin. I'm just going to leave the guns off for now because I'm going to have to do a little bit of transformation to put these two together. Alright, to form the sky hanger here, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to unhinge these, swivel this around, and I will say that when you swivel this for whatever reason, you can see that right there, it tends to just pop this off. It's not a big deal. So if you really just want to take it off and repeg it, like you could just take this and turn it around. Whatever's easier for you, it doesn't matter. But you're going to bring these in, and then they're going to form a kind of a triangle here in the front. So just like that. And then you're going to take the guns. Is that right? No, I'm sorry. They go like this. Using the wrong peg. I believe that's correct. Yes, that's correct. Then you're going to take the shoulder pieces, and they're going to peg on where I just tried to peg the other part, basically the handle of the gun in robot mode. So that's going to peg under there. So there we go. Now coming over to this section, you're going to take what will become the legs, and you are going to, you see that there's two peg holes right there, so they're going to peg like so. Yeah, for a second I thought I had it upside down, but I'm good. And that goes there like that. You have these arm pieces that you can see have two peg holes on the side, and they're going to peg on here like this. Like so. And then the directions don't have a firm place to put these, but I kind of just like to put them back where we had them previously. So I'm just going to do that. And then you can see that there's a peg right here, and that is going to peg into, oh no, I'm sorry, not that peg. This peg hole here is going to peg into this peg here. Now it's a little difficult. You kind of have to get clearance because this kind of hinge joint here has to fit underneath in there. So you kind of have to get that to clear and then bring it in. I promise it can be done. Now, if you want, if it makes it a little bit easier, you can take these guns off, and sometimes I do this because it is a little bit easier. Take these off, leave this how this goes. Just go ahead and peg that right on there, much easier. And then you can bring the guns back and peg them on like that. And of course this fell off. It really stays together much more than I'm depicting here, I promise. But there we go. There is the combined sky hanger. And I think this actually looks really, really neat. I love the combined form. These things slide around a little bit, which is kind of annoying. What you could do, see how they have the like pegs here? If you wanted, you could finagle it to have this kind of come like this and then peg this in, and then that will kind of keep it in place. So you can kind of take the arm off temporarily, put this here, slide this in, and then that to keep it in place. Now, of course, that is going to, you know, bring it in a little bit closer, which I don't think is the intent. But, you know, it makes it a little bit less wonky of just flying around loose like that. So it's up to you. Again, there's lots of customization here. It's kind of one of the hallmarks of Diaclone is that there is some customization. You can make whatever kind of modes you can come up with, but this is the sky hanger. I'll try to bring this pilot back in here. Bend him at the elbows, and then you kind of have to get the legs down first. It's a little difficult, but okay. He's not being cooperative. What you can do, take these off temporarily, because there's a lot of things that kind of have to move around, and there's clearance issues and things like that. But luckily, it is a little bit easier to just pop something off for a second, do what you got to do, and then pop it back on. So now that we got the feet the way they're supposed, you see how they have to really like fit into that area. Now we can pop these back on without issue, and then pop him there, and then there you go. He is riding around on the sky hanger. I just think it looks really neat. I think it's a cool little jet, but it does combine with the robot mode, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So again, on the box, it is meant to combine with the white version of this little dude, but I don't have that yet, so we're going to be using this guy. I think it still looks cool when you're all said and done. I'm going to take this off. This piece is supposed to come off. No, not yet. I guess it's not. So basically, let me show you how this is supposed to work. It's supposed to open up, and he's supposed to kind of jump inside and then have it close all around him. It's a little bit easier said than done, and there's a lot of clearance problems. But like, say for example, let me take this off again. The reason this thing is on a slide is because, you know, the hands are supposed to slide in once the robot gets in there, and it kind of adds to the illusion that it's like a jacket. Like, it opens up for the robot to jump inside, and then, you know, it closes up around him. But it doesn't work as well as you'd like it to. But I'll show you what's supposed to happen. And then eventually I'll probably have to resort to taking some things off. But this is supposed to open up like this, because these are going to be shoulder pads. So this opens up, and it just kind of hangs out here to the side. I'm going to take these swords off just because they get in the way, and they're not technically supposed to be on there. I just put them on there because when I have this sky hanger mode, I don't really have anywhere else to put them. Then you're going to open up these leg pieces. So then this is kind of the jacket open. And then you're going to take this dude, and you're going to kind of push up the feet. You're going to have to take the hands off. So the way we looked at this earlier, where these pieces come off so you could put on like his different gun or sword connections. He's going to get complete new hands. So you're going to take these off, and then you're going to peg them into his side, like you would if you were putting him into the like condensed mode or hanger mode. So peg those in. And I do find that for some reason this one's a little bit more snug than this one when you're pegging them into the side. But so you can see this peg right there in the middle. That's going to peg into his back like so. Just like that. And then this is kind of where I run into the clearance issues, but this is supposed to come down and like go onto his shoulder. His feet are supposed to connect in here and then close up, and that's supposed to form the jacket. The problem that I have is that these wing pieces here, right here where my finger is, I feel like get in the way of everything. Like this can't really slide. Like this is, so his arm is supposed to, you know, kind of go down. And we'll see if we can get this to work at least for one. So this is supposed to go down like this. This arm is supposed to come down. You know, this slides in to connect on his new hand. This is supposed to come down and peg in his new shoulder. His feet are supposed to close up in here. Let's see, can we get this to... There you go, that pegs in. This closes up. Let's see, maybe we can get both of the feet. Let me see here. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get these to line up. There we go. And then that closes up like that. These, I find it's much easier to just take these off and put them on yourself. And this is going to eventually spin around. So at this point, after this thing kind of like drops the arms on, and it's just going to fall off. After this puts the shoulders on for him, it's supposed to detach, and of course it just fell off. And then this is supposed to come off. This guy kind of flies away, and then these spin around, and that gets these pieces out of your way. And then again, the hand should be connected by now. And then these can kind of go in the center there. And then these will unpeg from this piece. And then this will flip around to the back. So let me go ahead and attach his hands the way it should be. There we go. Where's his other hand? So like I really appreciate the idea that it literally is like a jacket, like it opens up, he jumps inside. And I'm sure if this had like an anime or something to go with it, they would probably animate it very cool and it would look perfect. It's just that unfortunately, because of how kind of tiny the toy is and some of the clearance issues, it makes it a little hard to pull it off. But I do appreciate the idea behind it. I'm going to take these and take the guns off, and then these just peg onto the side here. There we go. And let's get the other one. And peg that on as well. So there you go. There is the fully combined let's see. Now this, you can take these. If you want to leave it like this, you can. If you want to transform this back and have the guns pointing forward, because the guy's going to kind of be on his own again. So you can put him back in the first configuration. Hold on, how do we have this? This goes like this, right? There we go. So put him back in the core machine setter configuration. And then this guy, you can either give him 2 guns, you can give him 2 swords, you can give him a gun and a sword. I kind of like to give him one of each. And the cool thing is, even though you don't need to, because you can totally just peg them through, the hands do open, which is nice. Nice little bit of articulation there. But you can just really just slide them right through, and there's no issue there. So the only thing that I look for is somewhere else to store the rest of these weapons. And you can kind of put like one of the swords back here if you want. You can put one of the guns back here. Like so. Just for some storage, which I like. I have this extra like sheath piece. Let's see, I'll put this up here. That'll work. Just for storage. So there we go. And I think it looks really cool. I really like this a lot. I still wish this shoulder had like a ball joint in it, because my instinct is to want to kind of put this out to the side. Now you can use the ball joint in the elbow to do so. But it's still, that's a bit of articulation I'm still kind of looking for. But I love this. I think this looks really, really cool. Now, obviously, if you had the white one, you'd have a more unified color scheme, so it would probably look a little bit sharper. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I think the wings look really, really cool. I love this combined form. Plus, you still have this cool little core guy over here. The other pilot is inside here. So you have one pilot in there flying this thing around. You have the other pilot over here flying the core around. And it just really makes for a really cool combination. I love it a lot. Articulation-wise, it's really the same as the robot underneath, because it's really just armor you're putting onto him. Just giving him kind of different arms, different feet, different shoulders. And this doesn't really have any articulation other than the guns can swivel around on that, because it's just a peg and a peg slot, so you can swivel that around if you want to. But I think it's neat. I really like this little core. I really like the quote-unquote jacket for this guy. And I love the swords. I love the swords. I love the guns. I just think it looks really, really good. So definitely a very fun set, in my opinion. I think this is a really cool set. I love this combined sky hanger mode. I like the two smaller individual modes. And of course, I love the quote-unquote jacket mode when you combine it with the core robot. I think it's really neat that you can use a bunch of the different core robots. You don't have to use the white one, which is good because I don't have that one yet. So I was able to use the blue one to show off the features. Obviously, the white one's going to have a more cohesive color scheme, so that's going to look a little bit better. But I think that's kind of the fun of the Diaclone line, that you do have a lot of options and combination possibilities, and I think that's really cool. I think I got this one on Amazon Japan, if memory serves, and I think it was somewhere in the area of like $30 before shipping. So they're not cheap, but I do think they're good. And I was a little bit surprised that I had a couple sprue kit pieces to put together, but once they are all together, they feel very cohesive and very solid. They don't feel cheap in any way. So I do really feel like you're getting quality pieces. And I really do just think that it's kind of a stability thing. I think it was probably safer and easier for them to package it on a sprue than to try to put all these pieces in a tray or something like that. So I think it was kind of a packaging, safety, stability kind of a thing. And like I said, it's very quick and easy to put together. The directions are great. You won't have any trouble with that. So I really do like the set. I think it's a ton of fun. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.